Welcome to the Vibration of Health Facebook group. My name is Dawn James. I'm the founder of the group. We are a global community offering a wide range of topics designed to inspire, encourage, and educate members to be healthy both physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. From time to time, we invite conscious practitioners, holistic business owners, speakers, authors, and lightworkers to share their knowledge and wisdom on living naturally, living harmonically, and living well. If you would like to be interviewed, please contact me for an application via my website, dawnjames.ca.
Joining me today is Susan Greenspan, an energetic and natural therapist. Susan has been practicing naturopath since 1995. She continued her studies to achieve her master's in holistic integrative therapies and shamanism and is an ongoing student of Kabbalah. Later in life, Susan discovered her natural abilities as a clairvoyant. She integrates this into her practice today. Susan now works mostly online, with the exception of house clearings and for those in need of hands on therapy. Susan teaches energetic anatomy online. Hi, Susan. Welcome to the Vibration of Health group. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much. How are
Oh,
you?
I'm doing well, doing well. We've got my summer to your winter.
As I was saying, I wish I could have done this outside because the white snow is so beautiful right now.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to hear about the different modalities that you offer, as well as, I guess, understanding your gifts. I know shamanism is something we haven't touched on in our group, so I think most of us are really interested to learn your perspective as well on that topic. So why don't we start there with that? Can you tell me, do you consider yourself a shaman?
Um, I don't add the title to my portfolio now. I do practice shamanism, and I practice Kabbalah. I practice a lot of mystical arts, and I do have a master's in shamanism. But the title is really reserved for Aboriginal medicine people. And I want to fully respect that and not jump into it. Because I practice some Kabbalistic arts too, I don't consider myself a rabbi. So, too many titles, too many names, and it gets too wishy washy and out of respect.
I know I can appreciate that fully. I mean, I know many of us who are in our group are light workers and we've studied many modalities. We've practiced many things and eventually we find that thing that calls to us the most. So, but I do know I'd like to understand when you say you practice shamanism, can you give us some examples of what that means to practice it, just to get some context?
Well, I do certain healing modalities or rituals that come stem from shamanism. I conduct sweat lodges. I do medicine wheel readings. I built myself a Quincy this month so I could celebrate the full moon in that womb. It's basically using all of nature and all of the dimensions and bringing them all together for a deeper understanding and healing in life.
Okay, so you mentioned sweat lodges. You know, that one thing I've always wanted to do, and I haven't had it. It's because of this. I keep holding back. I'm thinking, what's going to happen to my hair? But um, what are, if we could just touch on that? What are some of the benefits or transformations you've observed that may come out of a sweat? What does that look and feel like?
It's so intense and it's so beautiful. It's so wonderful. because within the sweat lodge, you're sweating your body. So you're detoxing on a physical level. But the ceremonies that go inside help you on the emotional and the spiritual cleansing as well. So you get a full holistic cleansing, and then after we just bring in a lot of light. I've been to different types of rituals in the sweat lodge. Some have rounds, meaning that the hot rocks that are brought in to the sweat lodge in coordination with the conducted ceremony are done in 4 parts. Other sweat lodges that I've been in is we went in and we journeyed. We went into deep meditation and went into body, mind, and soul at very deep levels, and some lasted over 2 hours.
Wow. I
Yeah,
hope you're
very.
drinking water, no doubt.
Oh, absolutely. We I allow in my sweat lodges, and this is the way I was trained to have plenty of water. And I don't like the sweat lodge packed with people. There are certain tribes that they put rows and rows of people, and if your body is detoxifying and your soul and everything is detoxifying, you don't want the person who's also detoxifying next to you be rubbing against you. You need your space.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree there. Yeah, it's a personal journey. You do need some space just to just to shed and also to get clarity and receive. You need that sacred little bubble, if you will.
As far as your hair goes, yes, it will go into a major blossom.
I might have an afro by the time I come out of there.
The first time I did a sweat lodge, halfway through, we had to come out to fix something. And we came out, and I looked at my friend. I went, "Am I better yet?"
Yeah, quite an experience.
Yeah.
So how, Susan, how does the practicing of that influence other aspects of what you do when you talk about healing? How does that kind of integrate with what you do?
Well, I really have touched on in my personal life as well as my practice that we're more than skin and bones. We are so many different layers, and each layer is based on the plane that the person is living at. So it's very individual and very unique. So touching into it, it's in everything in life now. When I walk and I see the moon and I'm talking to the moon, I know that the moon has a vibration as well as a beautiful glow that is affecting every cell within my body, that is affecting my emotions, that is affecting my spirit. And to look at people, clients, family, friends, insects, pets, everything in life,
Yeah.
you look at more than what is in your visual view. You feel them, you know them.
Yeah, so it's a deeper connection. Oh, actually, it starts with awareness, I believe. It's
Yeah.
to be even aware. How many people go outside and they don't, so many people go outside, they don't even look up in the sky at night. They don't even say, oh, there's the, Big Dipper. No one's, so when you're aware, now you can connect and then you could make a deeper connection, like you said, and get to understand what's in front of you beyond the physical form, and how is that connected to me? Because I personally, through my spiritual journey, I believe everything is connected to everything else because I felt that. And it's taking the time to even look and appreciate and connect to understand. We have to connect to understand. Otherwise, we're just kind of skirting through life, right? In a sense.
Yes, and when we do that, we have so much respect for every single person because whatever they are living, whether it's in the spiritual realm or, like you said, the chuck, we're going to go and do our life and living very 3D, they're fulfilling a place on the grids of life. So everything is respected.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to touch upon 2020 now that it's behind us. Hallelujah. That I got a feeling, and I'd love your input. I got a very strong sense that we're meant to slow down and get more awareness, become more conscious of our behaviors, our actions, our values. I just felt 2020 was all about, hey, just slow it down a little and let's start paying attention to how you're living and what you're chasing or not chasing and why and all these things. And what was your sort of feeling, just high level? What was your kind of sense about 2020? How did that kind of impact humanity in your perspective?
There's so many things that have happened and come out of it. And first, I'd like to say that a lot of people, when 2020 was over, put posts on Facebook of Santa urinating on 2020 and it's so bad and I'm so glad it's over. And one of my friends had called me and said, yeah, bring on 2021. 2020 was awful. And I went, it's not going to be better in 2021. It's going to be more powerful in 2021. So if you saw it as a negative, watch out. And basically, to me, this is all prophecy. This is all a coming of time where we're sent home. We're sent to our environment to get to know ourselves at a deeper level. It's about letting go of things that we're running after that are just not important in life, that are not only harming us and disconnecting us from ourselves and from each other and from spirit. And it's sending us all home with people are saying, I can't do anything. Well, maybe it's time to change what you're doing.
Thank you for saying that, Susan. Hey, for those of you just tuning in, I'm talking to Susan Greenspan. She's a naturopath. She is a gifted clairvoyant, and we're touching upon a few subjects today, including shamanism and just living life in a deeper way, just being more connected and being aware of ourselves, right? Ultimately, I mean, there's a motto, know thyself, right? Why are we here? You know. So yeah, thank you for saying that because we can always look at the glass as half empty. I mean, it's so easy to do. It's such an easy place to go and complain and worry and all this low vibrational emotion. It's so quick to get down there. But how many people look a little higher than where they are and see some of the positive things that have changed, not just in their lives, but the planet.
Thank you for saving the planet. That's so important because we keep going and going and going and crying about climate change, and we're not doing enough. And this too has sent us home. Less driving, less manufacturing, less airplanes, less a lot of things that are causing the dear planet. Deepak Chopra and Sanguru had a beautiful, beautiful interview of what was happening. And one of the things that they had mentioned is that we have done so much harm to Earth Mother. And she's at a point where she has to take over and heal herself. Otherwise, she's done, and which means all of life is done. And so she has released bacteria and viruses from her deepest essence. And I think we've helped with that by uncovering rainforest and different parts of the earth that were not exposed before, glaciers melting, which certain bacteria and viruses that were encapped in the ice are coming out. And this now is done by Earth Mother in order to balance out her viruses and bacteria. It's the same as we do within our body.
That
And
is yeah, that is a very, very, really interesting um, perspective because, I've listened to some of the what I call more conscious thought leaders about this issue, such as Zach Bush, and understanding again the interconnection between life, all life, the planet, ourselves, the air we breathe. There's so many levels that are working, they're actually working synergistically. One of the things I thought was very, it caught my attention, it was very fascinating, but it wasn't talked about enough, was to what extent the air pollution impacted this specific issue. And I was so blown away when one of the medical authorities stated that there was excess levels of cyanide in the air and what that does to the lungs and our respiratory system, coupled with, so it's coming up and it's coming down and everyone's in the middle. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So just listening to that, like climate change we talked about, when I hear the word reset, it is, I believe, driven by Mother Nature to get back into balance. And you just have to look outside and see how blue the sky is. I have friends in California that lived in condominiums that didn't know until last year that there was a mountain range in front of their view. They couldn't see
wow.
the mountain range until 2020. And I said, "Excuse me?" She goes, "Yeah, I live in this condo. I had no idea there were mountains, you know, 20 kilometers away because the smog was so thick." Unbelievable. So I sense there's a healing, and I know you're a healing therapist. Many times we have to go through some not pleasant things and feelings and physical stuff to get on the other side of healing, and perhaps that's what our whole planet is going through. What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We get so stuck in our comfort zones that we don't propel any change. We rest within it. And sometimes we need our environment and the other elements of life to push us into a great discomfort so that we move. Um, our greatest lessons have been, and our greatest healings have come out of discomfort.
True. That is true. I see that time and again in history. Um, it does happen through usually unplanned events like we're dealing with the last year and a half.
Mhm.
And, no one sees it coming, and then you've got to deal with it. And out of that comes new ways of thinking, new ways of living, changes in your life. Not all pleasant, but the changes, I personally believe on a higher plane, a lot of changes are, like you said, directing us back home. And I say directing us back on the path of what we're truly supposed to be doing here. And I think harmony plays a big role in that. If we were in a state of harmony, there wouldn't be all this pain and grief.
And I'm so glad you said that too, because right now I have an issue that I am trying to deal with a lot of people when they're dealing with COVID, either being extreme on the fear base or extreme on the it doesn't exist, it's all a bunch of whatever. And I appreciate all views. However, what I don't appreciate is that people are still fighting. They're fighting that COVID exists, they're fighting that COVID doesn't exist.
Mhm.
So the charge is still the same. It's still a fight and aggression instead of an acceptance
Yeah.
and a willingness to flow and transform with the rest of life. And this is really a lot to do or a lot on board with the shamanism or the Kabbalah. It's to see things for what they are on many levels. And I was telling you a story about when COVID hit, and I just had moved to this land that I'm on now, and I was raking, and while I was raking, I was thinking about all the people with COVID who couldn't breathe. And as I was raking, I was kind of talking with the earth as well. And as the leaves were coming up, all of a sudden the earth was appearing with these beautiful little flowers of many colors and very many sorts. And I was so excited. I went, wow, look what I found. Thank you, Mother. Thank you. And I could feel all of a sudden, as I said, thank you, Mother, this breath coming from earth as if the leaves were stifling her. And what she was showing me was everybody who was stifled and couldn't breathe from COVID, whether it be anxiety or the literal virus. And as she took a big breath, we together asked that everybody who was suffering from lack of breath be open and be able to take that breath with her. Then this fall, as I was raking, something came up from the earth and I could feel it going into my mouth and down my throat, and it almost choked me. I had to run into the house and drink water. I could not catch my breath. What that was, because after I went out and continued breaking, even if my breath wasn't fully back, and I asked Mother what that was, and she said, I am releasing my bacterias and my viruses, and now you have it within you. And I saw that as such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gift that she gave me. And
Wow.
she is willing to not only heal herself, but heal each and every one of us together with spirit right now. This is what's happening. This is a big change. And either we stop fighting, just stop fighting and comply with it and see it as a great blessing, then the prophecy will happen and we will go into our great era that is being promised of peace.
That is true. Yes, we talked about that a few months ago. I had a astrologer, Michael Moon, talk
Mm,
about the new cycle. There's cycles within cycles, but the 200-year cycle that started December 2020 about the Aquarian energy and what that means in terms of connection and community and collaboration and, you know, um, just moving us towards that path of harmony. And, Aquarian comes with many other things like innovation and tech, but we can't forget that overarching community and connection that it comes with as well. And, community and connection, I hope also will allow others to see their connection with this planet because, the corporations may have CEOs who the planet doesn't have a spokesperson, or the shareholder is, you can't name a name. So we all have to be, I believe, good global citizens of this planet and really start being conscious of our behaviors and how it affects us. So, Susan, what a pleasure exploring these topics with you today. I am just really glad we had a chance to touch upon the various things you do. And for those of you tuning in, Susan Greenspan has a very special offer for everyone in our group. Um, for this month of our interview, you can enjoy $20 off her offerings. And Susan, I'll let you introduce your course. I know you teach energetic anatomy. Can you tell us the length of the program and your coordinates to check that out?
absolutely. You can join me on Facebook to find out more information, or message me or email me, whatever you like. The course on energetic anatomy consists of 8 levels. Each level consists of 8 classes. You could do as many as you want. They are in sync, so you can't do the last one before you do the first one. And each level goes into a different chakra, different energy sphere, and lets you connect with yourself according to the energy center that we are dealing with. For example, the first level is all about the root chakra, which is about grounding. So we go into really going into ourselves to see how this is working within us, whether it's blocked, whether it's charging, or what is going on with it, to really feel it and to recognize it within yourself. And then learn different modalities of grounding, of clearing, of healing. So it's really interesting because I have small groups. I don't do big groups. It's done on Zoom. And the
Okay.
small groups form a really beautiful, intimate relationship with each other as they go on exploring the different depths of their different energy circuits.
Thank you. And you offer this throughout the year?
I offer it throughout the year. I'm always having another level one starting. I should have a new one starting this February.
Okay. Thank you.
And every 2 months, I advertise another level.
Thank you so much. Well, again, for those of you tuning in, please check out Susan's offering, Energetic Anatomy, her course, and for the month of our interview, you can enjoy $20 off as well. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Susan.
It's a pleasure speaking with you, meeting you, and following you on your website as well. And congratulations on your new book. You know what? I'd really love to read it. It sounds
Oh,
amazing.
thank you for that. Yes, our little baby is going to get birthed in March. Thanks again. Have a fantastic day.
You too. Thank you so much, Dawn.
I hope you've enjoyed what we have shared today, and I invite you to join our community on Facebook. To learn more about conscious living, how to increase your frequency, and receive access to resources to support healthy living, please visit my website, dawnjames.ca. Have a great day and hope to see you soon.